This is a list of some of the key concepts from the analysis of IPAT and ecological footprint. The purpose of the course module on IPAT and ecological footprint is to familiarize ourselves with the conceptual vocabulary of sustainability and to begin to understand the context and range of issues, economic, environmental, social and political, ethical and personal, that are interrelated in complex ways. So one of the things we might think about is how are the concepts on this list related to one another? I want you to also notice, by the way, that I've added at the bottom of the list the 4 factors that Diamond identified in the selection, "The World is a Polder," that were not mentioned in the videos. So, okay, we've got all of these different concepts, these different factors that are perhaps related to sustainability. Again, the question is, how might we understand their relation to one another? What are their connections? Here's a concept map of some of them. The original IPAT concepts are in the upper left. The additional factors identified by Speth are in yellow, and those identified by Diamond in "The World as a Polder" are in blue. Then there are a couple of additional ones that I've left in white. The lines are just meant to suggest some of the ways in which the concepts might be related to one another. These relations or connections are not necessarily causal connections. For example, the connection between affluence and the consumption circles is just a clarification connection. The concept of affluence, a form of material wealth, could be understood as consumption, or the ability to consume material goods. Affluence or material wealth is consumption. By contrast, the connection between affluence and poverty is a contrastive connection. If affluence is material wealth, then its contrasting concept would be poverty. To be poor, materially, is to lack the ability to consume material goods, or to have low material consumption. So you might think about how you would characterize some of the connections that are drawn in this concept map, the ones that are already there. But you might also think about whether there are ones that you would add or change. And how would you connect up the 2 circles, market failure and political and policy failure, 2 factors identified by Speth as contributors to impact? So think about that. Think about other changes that you might make to the concept map, what they are, and why would you make the connections that you do. And in addition, are there factors not included on the concept map or that haven't been mentioned at all so far that you think should be included? If so, what are they, and why would you add them? There is a downloadable file of the concept map on the course Blackboard site. Download it, print it out for yourself, make your notations and changes on it, and bring it to the next class. I have put the values circle or set of concepts in red in order to highlight this set of factors as the main focus in our course, Ethics and Sustainability. Our course isn't an economics course where we might study the economics of growth, or a science course where we might study the science of environmental degradation or climate change. As an ethics and philosophy course, we are interested in values and how they influence the choices we make. For example, how does the value we assign to freedom and individual rights, including, for instance, reproductive rights, influence our choices and contribute to impact? For example, how do reproductive rights contribute to how we think about population? We are also interested in figuring out what choices we ought to make, that is, how to make morally right choices in relation to sustainability. For example, why might we have a duty to protect the environment, or have a duty to future generations, and not only those who are present now, that is, who are our contemporaries? Are these individual duties and responsibilities, or are they collective ones, that is, duties that groups of people have? So obviously one thing to notice is that the values circle will end up including a lot more than what's there now. On this concept map, it includes only those factors that were identified in the IPAT and ecological footprint course module. But, that will change. As a philosophy course, some of the other things that we're interested in is understanding the conceptual relationships between some of these concepts, and also getting clearer about some of the definitions of these concepts that are used in discussions about sustainability. So one reason we have spent time familiarizing ourselves with economic, social, and political and environmental dimensions of sustainability is because it's important to understand the context and the wide range of issues at stake as we consider the ethical issues raised by sustainability and as we attempt to get conceptual clarification about what is at stake.